Hello everyone, Warren here again with the Peach State Prime Transformers channel. On this channel and on my other channel, the original channel, just Peach State Prime, been bringing you some videos based upon my visit to the 2026 Toylanta Toy Show. As the name suggests, and calling it a toy show, Toylanta is a very large toy show in the Atlanta area. Happens every single year. It's moved locations a few times. It's currently, last year and this year, it's been held at the Gas South Convention Center in Duluth, Georgia. And this year was just absolutely fantastic. But before I get into all that, so basically what I'm doing here in this video is, I'm going to show a few highlights from the weekend. Specifically, if I could pull out any good views of Transformers, being sold at the show, which there were tons. And then I'm going to show you what my sons and I picked up at the show this year. There's some really cool stuff there. As far as a full walkthrough of the event, that's going to be found over on the Peach State Prime channel. So the Transformers channel gets my thoughts on the event. And, again, kind of my mini review. And then, unveiling what I got. It's not going to be an unboxing of every item. Of course, for Transformers items, the stuff that I got, that'll be forthcoming. We'll do some reviews of those items. But anyway, so like I said, this year's Toylanta was absolutely epic. It was the biggest one that I think they've ever had. The way that Toylanta is usually set up is that there's a big kind of what I would call a main room where you have most of your dealers, and then you would have multiple smaller conference rooms where you'd maybe have 2 to 3 dealers set up. And that was even the case for last year. Last year they had a sizable ballroom, but it, wasn't something super huge either, but it was a good size. And then they had the multiple rooms. This year was the biggest yet. They had 2 to 3 full-size ballrooms, like you'd find at any BotCon, any TFCon, OTFCC, anime convention. It was big. And I'm not saying something as big as San Diego Comic-Con or Dragon Con here in Atlanta, but for a toy show, this was pretty darn big. You got to go through the main dealer's room, and when you went through there, not only were there, hundreds of dealers, but you also had people selling handmade items. There was a lot of 3D printed goods, which is cool, but it's not just like, the little dragons or little fidget toys like you would normally find at like a craft show or something like that. These were big, like, playset pieces, and costume pieces. Like, I saw, Optimus and Megatron helmets for sale. I saw a lot of, like, cosplay weapons, like swords for, like, He-Man and Thundercats. So, a lot of cool stuff there. There's also a guy selling, wooden, like, cutout signs that you can hang up with your collection for, of course, Transformers and other properties out there. You also had some independent toy companies there, which was really neat. So you had, there was a group called 9 to 5 Toys was there, and if you're familiar with them, they kind of have rebooted kind of the, I forget what they were called. I think it was like Food Wars or Food Fighters, something like that, where they have like desk and office creatures and food items that, they're action figures they could fight. You had ones called Cryptoids there, And they currently have a Kickstarter going for different action figures based on cryptids, such as Bigfoot, Mothman, mythical creatures like that, or, that most people believe are mythical. There was also the booth, and I'm trying to remember the name now, but they were at BotCon a few years ago. They they have their own seeker molds that, somewhat represent some of the Transformer seeker characters and some original ones. They were there. And then something that they really introduced and went full on force last year was having special guests there. And there were some special guests there of note. For those of you that are Power Ranger fans, you had the individual, and I'm sorry, I don't have their names right in front of me. But you did have the actor who played Rocky, the second Red Ranger, was there. You had the actor who portrayed Goldar in Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. And then you had the actor who portrayed the young Tommy Oliver when they had that whole kind of the Alien Rangers debacle where the Power Rangers are turned into kids. You had him there. You also had, for those of you that know the classic sitcom Married with Children, you had the actor who played Bud Bundy there. And I know he had several different projects and toy-related projects he was there promoting. On a Transformers note, the gentleman, and again, I so apologize for this, but the individual who voiced Devcon in the classic G1 series was there. And then probably the biggest name for Transformers there was in fact Greg Berger. The voice, he voiced several characters in the G1 series, but the role he's best known for, arguably, is Grimlock. So he was there. Flint Deal, I believe, was there as well, who, of course, worked on the production side of the G1 show. So a lot of cool guests, and they had a whole row of them on one of the walls in the dealer's room this year. So like I said, lots of Transformers on sale. Some booths had nothing but Transformers. One thing that was really cool is, I've talked a little bit about Haslab Unicron before, and, I don't think I've been to a toy shop or toy show or convention where I haven't seen one on sale or, for sale. And of course, they're always thousands of dollars. But there was actually a local toy shop that had a booth there selling Transformers that had a loose Haslab Unicron on display. And on display only. It was not for sale. But it was in robot mode. And that was my first time actually physically laying eyes on this legendary figure that I will probably never own. But it was really cool getting to see that. They had it on display, and you'll probably see it in one of the video clips I'm playing now, holding a little Galvatron figure with, some of the other combiners at his feet and everything. So that was pretty cool. Also there's a big emphasis on like miniatures and making little displays with miniatures. And I'll be honest, it wasn't quite as plentiful as it was in the past, but there still was a little bit of a presence there. Also of note, they did have upstairs from that main dealer's room, they did still have a few separate conference rooms filled with other dealers, and then there was also a room that had some custom figures in there. Not really any Transformers that I noticed, but there were some customs just from other toy lines that are just independent creations. One thing that was also really cool is they had an arcade set up. And it was an arcade in the sense that there were video games, but they're all, classic and modern consoles hooked up to TVs and monitors in a separate conference room. And that was hosted by the Southern Fried Gaming Expo, or SFGE, which is another local convention, of course, more video game based. But it was really cool seeing them having a presence there, such a strong one, and just adding to that event, giving you another activity to do. Um, and then I had mentioned there were independent toy companies. There were more than I had mentioned. I do want to give that a call out. You'll probably see them again in the video clips that I'm showing, but you have some that are followed pretty closely by their fans, and again, different crowdfunding opportunities like Kickstarter. Also there, besides toys, you could find VHS and DVDs, records, of course, all sorts of memorabilia. I saw some toy chests there. I think I saw a He-Man one, if I'm not mistaken. Um, Anything and everything. There was even a booth selling high quality lightsabers, and they had an animatronic Darth Vader waving one around, almost whacking everybody in the head when they walked by. It was really a great time. If you ever have the opportunity to come to the Atlanta area in March, it's usually the last weekend in March, because it's always right around my oldest son's birthday. So we always kind of go for his birthday, though I think would probably go anyways, but that's how he likes celebrating his birthday. If you can make it, I would definitely come. It's just a great time. And if you're from out of town, if you can't make it a day trip, there are plenty of hotels nearby. There's a mall that's still kicking pretty strong nearby where you could go eat, or there's some food on site. Not a ton on site, but you could drive over to the mall and come back. Let's see what else. Oh, and of course there were Pokemon cards everywhere. As far as trends with Transformers, so lots of Blokees, tons of them, and I'll show off some of the ones I got here. I think besides the small, the blind box ones, I think I saw most of the action editions, which are the large, usually go for about $45. I saw most of those. I saw the Optimus Prime Megatron, the reformatting purple Megatron, and then Tarn, and Soundwave as well. Those were selling between 35 and 45. So not bad priced. Most of the prices on stuff, and I'll talk more about this with the reveals here. Most of the stuff was pretty fair priced. Now I will say there were a couple individuals selling older vintage Transformers. We're talking again G1, that I feel their pricing was maybe a little high. I did not attempt to haggle with them, so they might have come down a little. But most of the pricing I saw was fair, or even, dare I say it, a deal, even when you compare it to retail now on the newer items. So like I said, lots of Blokees. Of course, one of the figures that was really big to find around the show was the ever elusive Studio Series 86 Megatron, the non-battle damaged one from Target. Actually, both of them, but more so that more elusive release, the clean version, I'll call it, which myself am trying to get at a decent price. I think the cheapest I saw it at the show was $85. And it was selling. I saw a lot of booths with it for $90. There were reports, and this was another dealer saying this, that they claimed that there was one selling for $150. I personally did not lay eyes on that, but it wouldn't surprise me. just with how popular that figure has gotten. A lot of, let's say there was a decent amount of G1. Didn't see a ton of Beast Wars. Did see one Armada Unicron. Like I said, I saw two box Haslab Unicrons. Both, over $2,000. And then, of course, the loose one, which wasn't for sale. A lot of stuff, again, from the legacy generations. Not too many Combiner Wars, but, Age of the Primes was present. A lot of loose, a lot of boxed. A lot of the loose figures were either, on shelves or locked in little display cases. So again, it's fun just going and seeing all that, even if you don't buy anything. Of personal note, I do have to mention two figures. So I did see, for those that are familiar with the other videos on my channel, there was a booth selling a semi-loose Transmetal Beast Wars Megatron. It was in the box, but loose in the box. So the box was just kind of a bonus and a vessel to keep it safe. I believe the gentleman, my son asked how much, and it was $75. And all I can think of in my son is, my in this last week and a half, mine broke due to diminished gold syndrome, gold plastic syndrome, whatever you want to call it. And all I could think of was asking this guy to take the figure out of the box, to slide it out and show it to me, and it just snapping in half in his hands. So we stayed clear of asking him to do that, or of course purchasing the figure. Though $75, if the figure could actually move and transform, I don't fault him for asking that. That's a cool figure, and again, Hasbro hasn't remade that one yet. The last one I'll talk about is on a similar note. I saw an original Black Zarak in a box. It was over $4,000, and it's one of the most notorious figures of having, again, gold plastic syndrome, diminished gold syndrome, whatever you want to call it. So all I can think of is, yep, that's like $4,200. I'm going to leave it exactly like it is. That box is just going to go on my shelf if I buy that thing. And of course, I didn't buy it. I don't quite have that much money. But I could see why they were asking it. But I would be so scared to even slide that thing out that it would just be a pile of gold dust in there. But anyways, I know I've said this. I'll say it again. Awesome year. Found a lot of good stuff. There's been some years in the past where I haven't found hardly anything that I was interested in at a good price. This year was, I have to say, it was probably my favorite year for Toylanta. It was just great. But so that's enough, kind of overview of the show. So my sons wanted me to show what they got. I am going to include off-topic items as well, just for fun. So I'm going to start with my oldest son, who, if you watch my other channel, you know him. His name is also Warren. Just turned 14. So the first thing he got was Legacy United Galvatron. Now, he does have the Armada Megatron. He likes this repaint. The reason he got it is, if you look at that sticker right there, $25. A leader class you can't go buy in Walmart anymore. $25. So that was a truly awesome find there. We also got, or he got, I had mentioned Blokees. He got two blind boxes. The Galaxy version. This is, I believe, the latest series. It's Series 9, Darkest Hour. This is the series where you can get a Unicron in Planet Mode. So very cool. And then he did get the 6 series of the Defender version, which includes the Beast Wars characters. So he'll have fun opening that up. And then also on that Blokees note, he did pick up for only $10 the Blokees wheels Optimus Prime with the trailer. Very cool. And I kind of wish I would have went back and picked up one of these as well. Because I don't have one, and I'm looking at the box, and I'm saying, boy, is that cool looking. I like the take on the Optimus cab there. Then the last thing he picked up was Origins Bumblebee from Legacy, which, of course, started out as a Target exclusive. Again, as with Galvatron, this was a great deal. He got this figure for only $15. A deluxe figure for $15 in today's market. This seller had a lot of great deals. I got some stuff from him as well. But just awesome prices. Again, better than retail. My younger son, Landon, again, who you might have seen in my other videos, he got a couple Lego minifigures. There was a booth selling Legos and minifigures, which, you know, some of the minifigures are, I believe, more fan-made, but these are cool nonetheless. These are both from the Lego Ninjago movie, which is a guilty pleasure of mine. We got Lloyd, or Lloyd, if you're familiar with the film, and we got Garmadon, Lloyd's dad, or Lloyd's dad, in pajamas with all 4 arms and twice as tall. So these are fun. Of course, Landon being, 10 years old, still has that young kid charm. There was a booth that just handed him a free Pokemon Poliwhirl card. And what's fun about this one is that this is an original Poliwhirl card from when I was younger, when Pokemon cards first came out. So that was kind of cool. And then Landon did also get a couple Transformers items. He got Blokees. He got the Arc set for only $5. And for those of you not familiar, you build the Arc here, and it is actually a container that you can put your spare Blokees pieces in. So, like, you sometimes get alternate hands and alternate accessories, and you can store those in here. So that was really cool. And then he also got Rise of the Beast Mirage, the classic class Blokees. This was only $10, which I know if you're lucky enough to find them at Walmart, they're usually about that. But this was from the same dealer that my other son Warren got the Armada Galvatron and the Origins Bumblebee at. So again, more great deal strike. So, gonna go into my stuff now, which you'll see more of, but I'm gonna start with some Transformers, then switch gears and do an off-topic item, and then round it out with some more Transformers. So, keeping on with the Blokees, I actually was fortunate to pick up for $5 one of the clear Unicron heads that you could get independent from the blind box series that contains him. So this was really cool, and this was the main one I cared about in that line. Honestly, I like them all, but I really wanted this one in clear or opaque. Glad to have it. And then these are currently on store shelves, but you'll see why I got them. I got Twin Mill and Bone Crusher, or not Bone Shaker, excuse me, wrong character, from the Hot Wheels Transformers crossover figures line that has come out, and I've really liked these figures, the look of them in car mode and robot mode, but I haven't picked them up because $35 is just a hair too much, especially when they're deluxe size. But here's why I got them at the show. Can you see that sticker? Yeah, that says $20. So this was, again, that same dealer that I said had all the great deals, had a whole rack of these for $20 each. I don't know how he's making a profit or how he got them, but hey, if he got them on clearance somewhere and marked them up, I'll gladly pay $20 for any deluxe figure nowadays. Get alone, close to 30. So this was a great find. My off-topic item that I want to show off real quick. If you, again, watch my other channel, just Peach State Prime, I recently did a whole collection showcase and unboxing for my favorite anime series, Tenchi Muyo. This was something I never expected to find at Toylanta. It was just sitting on a shelf, on display, of course. Ironically, it was right next to a G1 Omega Supreme in the box. But if you can't tell what this is Tenchi the movie. The first one they did, it is a Japanese, or not Japanese, but it is a laser disc. And honestly, I take that back. I don't know if it's Japanese or bilingual, if it also is in English. I'm going to say it's also in English because there's a lot of English writing on the back here. But this set, I've never seen this before. No, I don't have a Laserdisc player, but I could not pass it up. It is just great. And the guy made me a deal on it. I offered cash, and cash is king at these toy shows because they will gladly accept Zelle, Venmo, sometimes PayPal, friends and family. But if they don't like the transaction fees. Sometimes we'll take cards. So if you have cash, that's ideal. But this is just a gorgeous set, like I was showing. I'm going to pop the lid off of this real quick because I just got to show what I discovered in here. So, I know this is a print, but it's still really cool. One of the inserts in here has... yeah, so this is definitely an English release because this has the English and Japanese voice cast signatures right next to the characters that they voiced. That is just awesome. I know I keep saying that, but it's awesome. And then you got these diagrams on the inside. And then you have this nice program. I'm used to the DVD releases, but this is just great. Just a true collector's item. And not something you run into too often. And then it's also a 2 Laserdisc set with double sides on both. I'm not going to take the discs out right now. But just, I don't know, laser discs are one of those things I just think are so cool. Kind of the, the child of a record and a DVD. Of course, they came before DVDs. But I've always heard that the quality is just so much superior. So I might need to find a Laserdisc player sometime. But that's that. And then to round out, so I talked about Megatron. Studio Series 86 Megatron being a popular item. I got 2 things in that vein, not Megatron though. I did pick up Commander Class Ultra Magnus. I got a good deal on this. Cheaper than anywhere online that I've seen or any other specialty store. So I'm really glad to have this in my collection. In my review of Nova Prime that I just did recently, I showed off my War for Cybertron Ultra Magnus for a comparison. And I had said to myself, I don't need the Commander class. This thing's good enough. As I went through and did that review, I changed my thoughts tremendously. After handling that figure again, and then looking at pictures of this guy online again. So, I'm very glad to be adding this to my collection. And of course, this along with the other Transformer items that I picked up, I'll be doing a review of this in a future video. And then the one that really made some people jealous that I got the same deal on for as I did Ultra Magnus, you could probably guess it. It's Studio Series 86 Commander Optimus Prime. Again, this was a figure I said I didn't need. I have the Kingdom class, or excuse me, not Kingdom. I have the figure from War for Cybertron that was released as part of Earthrise and Kingdom. And then I saw the true size comparison. I saw the Target exclusive battle damage one at the show today. And I saw, even with the battle damage, how gorgeous his figure looks. And I had been on the fence anyways. You know, it's Optimus Prime. He deserves that Studio Series treatment and that treatment to be on my shelf. So again, I got an amazing deal on him. Again, better than anywhere else I've seen online. And of course, both of these are sealed. And again, Optimus will, of course, be in a very special video review where I get to compare Optimus Prime toys to each other. So, that is Toylanta 2026. I do hope you enjoyed hearing about the convention, seeing, you know, my coverage of it. Again, you can check out that full walkthrough video over on the Peach State Prime channel. Excuse me. And of course, you know, continue covering Transformers here. You'll get those reviews of my purchases coming up soon. If you did enjoy this video, again, I invite you to like it here on YouTube. That helps me out a lot. It helps other people see my videos. And of course, leave a comment. You know, I always love hearing from everybody. You know, have you been to Toylanta before? Is there another toy show in your area that you enjoy? Another convention? You know, what do you think of the items I showed off here, you know, in mine and my son's hauls? You know, let me know who you think got the best haul there. I mean, I know I probably had the most resources available, but, you know, for what you're interested in, let me know what you think was the best. And of course, subscribe, you know, to the Peach State Prime Transformers channel for all things Transformers, whether it's events like this one, reviews. I'll do some actual unboxings, you know, thoughts on upcoming releases. I've put those up from Monstructor, and also the upcoming Transformers Icons Optimus Prime figures. And then, you know, any other topics I think of this, you know, that would make some good discussion, I'll put those up here as well. But anyways, I want to thank you once again for taking time out of your day to watch my video. It means a lot. Hope you have a great one, and God bless.